Yo, what's up everyone? So bit of a different video today actually. I've been getting quite a few comments in streams and DMs about my opinions on Tectone's, I guess, opinions on Genshin Impact as of late. I guess he made a video talking about his opinions about the game and things he want like changed and stuff like that. I haven't actually seen it. Sometimes his videos do make their way on my timeline, of course, because of YouTube algorithm, but I actually haven't seen this video and gave thoughts on it. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to take a look at this video of him giving his thoughts about the game and see if we can pull some things from this. But before we begin, just got to say, because I know how you guys are, this is no shape or form any disrespect to Tectone or his community. If there is any difference of opinion here as far as what I see, I'm just going to be expressing the way I feel about things, and of course how I think the devs are actually treating Genshin Impact as a game as a whole. So, you know, you can always have a difference of opinion with someone and still be respectful to them, or even be cool with them, still be friends with them, stuff like that. I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about video games. It's not like we're talking about the fate of the world and opinions and stuff like that. You know, we talk about video games in here. Anyway, let's go and get into the video.
Hey, what's up?
All right,
YouTube?
I'm guessing this is the right one.
You know, I haven't been out in the forest in a while, but it's been a long time, and you know, I kept the videos very positive for at least a week. Okay, at least a week. And you know, some people like to say, "Oh, why are you being so negative about Genshin?" The past week or so, 2 weeks, have been incredibly positive for me and the
That's
community.
reassuring.
And I'll say this right now, and this might be a good thing or a bad thing. I prefer when the community's shitting on me for whatever reason they decided to make up for the week, because at least then I get reminded that the community's interacting. It being Tectone again, you said waifus, God forbid you say husbandos, there we go. Zhongli's my favorite husband.
Is that a bad thing to say? That was a thing that happened?
I am implying that I would love to fuck him. Goes up.
I gotta cut this out. I gotta cut this out.
That's too much. Anywho.
What is happening?
You know, I come out to these forests to be a little bit more serious, but
Well, at least it's a lighthearted beginning.
Dude, when Genshin's, and let me talk about this first. When Genshin's dusted, and that's eventually going to happen.
Of course.
Right? It will eventually happen. Because
All gacha games.
I feel like everybody's starting to realize that this is what Genshin's going to be for the next little bit, which is a couple mini games, events that nobody cares about, maybe 2 to 3 hours of content per update, and 2 to 3 money sinks.
He is on a good point. I've been talking about this for a long time, and it's like people just don't want to accept that that's what the nature of this game is. So he brought up a really good point. Obviously, one day the game will end. I mean, that's the service of all gacha games. Eventually, you know, it may take 20 years for the game to go down, but eventually all good things must come to an end. Genshin will eventually follow suit of all those that came before it, and the servers will close on this game as well. He also mentioned that, you know, he is starting to realize, along with the other community, that the game is just there to be like events. There's events that happen, and there's like, you know, you do these mini games, you get a little bit of story, and these are the updates. You get a character, you get some like mini games or whatever, which are the events, and then you get the story and stuff like that. So, oh, and then the characters. Yeah, so these are the things that happens every update. But the thing about it that I think is good for Genshin is the frequency at which this happened and the quality of this stuff. Yes, it's just a bunch of mini games, but that's what they had in store for this game. This probably isn't made for every single person, right? You know, and there's a whole concept here of just, you know, everything isn't marketed towards you. So this is one of those things, if you aren't just if this isn't your type of thing, this like type of play style, if you wanted something a little bit more hardcore, then maybe this isn't for you.
The more and more I play this game, the more and more out of touch Mihoyo is starting to feel. It's really depressing. The fuck was that Elon Musk bullshit?
I heard about that.
The fuck was that?
I didn't talk about it, but I heard about it.
Elon Musk bullshit. The refusal to nerf or buff anything. Now, I know we have Honkai Star Rail to get into.
That game looks very promising.
Of Honkai Impact. I'm almost at chapter 8. I'm taking it really slow because I know what happens if you take a Mihoyo game fast, and that's kind of what's happening right now. Getting into other games like Lost Ark, I got into the closed beta, which in my opinion has so much potential. I'm really enjoying it.
Okay. I mean, he has the community to like branch out into other things, so that's good for him, for sure.
Is starting to show its flaws to me, which is a shame.
Oh, he don't like New
I'm
World?
trying to get into Final Fantasy 14, but I bum rushed to level 70, And then I realized people really wanted me to read the story, and I don't know if I have the patience to go back and do it because the game's really good.
Oh, you don't want to read the story?
I'm not much of a reader, you know what I mean? And, like, that game has so much dialogue, and it's like, dude, when I wanted to play an MMO, I didn't want
Final Fantasy 14 is a lot of dialogue. Like, I think Honkai's a lot of dialogue. Final Fantasy 14 is a different beast. He's not lying.
I mean, maybe they'll make like an Arataki Ito artifact set. Dude, me farming artifacts, like, that gives me content. That gives me something to do. But, like, that's another thing, is that giving me
Really?
content.
He likes doing artifact farm?
I have tried to upload a YouTube video every single day for Genshin Impact, and I'm starting to get to the point where, like, I just can't feasibly do that.
Yeah, I understand.
And that's really frustrating for me.
I understand that. So, what are you talking about here? From a content creator perspective, I can understand this. Genshin, in the way that is formed and the way that they want the game to be played and the idea of the cycle that they have is not very beneficial for a content creator. For a casual game that they're making, it's brilliant for a casual game. But if you are a content creator, this is not the easiest game to make content for. You have to be super creative to try to make content for Genshin on a daily basis. Every single day you're uploading for Genshin, that's incredibly hard. That's incredibly hard. So, you know, the fact that he's been able to, like, make some type of content, and sometimes it gets even to the point where he has to, like, sort of put in random other things in there. Like, sometimes he puts, like, highlights from other streams and stuff because he just can't make a Genshin video that day. Sometimes it's just hard. You know, he's very creative in the ideas that he come up with for the community and stuff like that. So I got to give him props where props is due. He does make very good videos with that. But it becomes extremely hard sometimes to actually just make Genshin content. That is what it is for a content creator.
Because one of the reasons why I started YouTube is there's other YouTubers. His name's Kriparian. He's like a Diablo player, swapped to Hearthstone. And when I was really depressed and where I really didn't have anything to look forward to the day-to-day, I didn't know why I would want to continue, like, living. I was like, well, tomorrow I'll have a Kriparian upload, and I get to eat my breakfast, you know, my bologna sandwich and my fucking Cheerios without any milk. So it was always like my dreams and aspiration to be able to, you know, release a video every morning to keep people company the same way that Kriparian kept me company.
I respect that.
It's getting really hard. I actually only uploaded 2 videos in the past 4 days. I'm trying to diversify the content a little bit.
Yes,
you know,
like I was saying.
Of that, and I
have seen that. Like I said, his videos do show up on my timeline.
What I would do. A game that really helped me out. Genshin Impact. I really don't want to ever have to forget about this game.
Yeah,
because the devs
his following from this game is huge. Like, Arknights put him on the map for sure, you know, and right at the Arknights, he took off with this game.
Cause me random shit in the community, but other than that,
he really took off with this game.
The Genshin Impact community. You know, I made some really good friends from content creators like Goose Egg. Goose Egg's a homie. I never thought that I would meet.
I don't know who Goose Egg is. I don't think.
In YouTube,
who's Goose Egg?
Who I play games with every single day off stream. I just want Genshin to go back to the way that it used to be.
Wait, what do you mean it used to be?
I don't know why it can't. Why can't we get a developer roadmap? Literally, and that's all we're really asking for here. It's like, when is Sumeru coming? When is the Chasm coming? What characters should we be expecting on the updates? You know?
Okay, so I think I understand what you're saying here at the very least. So he wants more transparency from the developers. I can get that. So obviously they've been doing a little bit better when it comes to the transparency of showcasing the characters a little bit better, but I guess he wants more of a roadmap to happen. And I don't think that is something that's never going to happen for this game. I really don't think that's something they're going to do. The only reason we technically even got a roadmap to begin with is because the roadmap for the content to come in that timeline, which pretty much all content we already played before in the past betas. So we kind of already knew what to expect. All that content we done already. So we just knew what was coming in those patches. So yeah, that's what it was. We just knew what was coming in majority of those patches and how they were going to happen. Now, of course, the events and how they occurred were a bit different because they expanded upon the ideas from what we played in the betas, but the core ideas were still there. The core values of what was there was still there. So, you know, we played pretty much the same thing, just a little bit different. Now, as far as the roadmap itself actually goes, it's just something that just gacha game companies don't do. And, you know, the one thing I got to give MiHoYo props for at the very least is, even though they don't do a roadmap, you are getting an update every 6-7 weeks or something like that. And the quality, once again, of the updates are very high. You know, you get some very high quality updates or as fast as they're pumping these bad boys out. And, you know, it's just a really good thing as far as like how they're actually doing it. One of the biggest issues when it comes to any game developer and roadmaps is when you say you are going to do something, when you put it in writing and say this, you can expect this during this time frame. You are setting an expectation that cannot be changed at any given time. If for whatever reason you have to swap ideas or you have to like make, I don't know, like a filler patch or something like that, this is going to extremely make the community disappointed when the thing that they are expecting does not come at that time. And that is something that scares developers more than anything, is giving concrete dates for things and stuff like that. When you give a concrete date, when developers tell you, okay, this is the date for the game, you know, they're really solidifying that they're trying to meet this. And of course, we've been seeing a lot from developers of any games in general these past few years, is a lot of setbacks when it comes to due dates. You know, there's been a lot of games that just have to go back not a few years, but a couple of months so they can keep developing the game and stuff like that. It happens all the time. It's frustrating for the developers. It's frustrating all the time. Like, you know, you've seen the Final Fantasy 14 letter that happened. My boy Yoshi P was literally crying on stream because he had to push Final Fantasy 14 a few weeks back because he know how important that was to people. He knew that people were setting, you know, these jobs, they were taking off time from their jobs and, you know, making all these plans to play this game to get ready for the new expansion of the game, and he just felt he let everyone down, and that's what saddened him. You know, this are the type of things that scare devs from trying to do things like this. Now, as far as looking at leaks, I mean, leaks are what it is. I mean, it's going to entice people. Some people just want to look at them. Some people feel like they need them as far as the game go, and it's just always going to be around. You can't really escape them. They're going to show up in your YouTube algorithm. They're going to show up in Twitter trending. Is just, you know, you're going to see them everywhere, even if you try to escape it. Especially if you're a content creator, it's very hard not to. So the fact that he's like super oblivious to them, or like, I guess it is a little bit possible because obviously, you know, I'm a content creator, and then of course I try to stay away from it as much as possible. But there's sometimes where you just see it, or sometimes you just have people that come into your community and just outright say it. You see the comment, and being, you know, I'm a little bit obviously much smaller than Tectone as far as how massive his Twitch streams and stuff are. I will see the comments a lot more frequently than someone like him whose chat is going like 100 miles per hour. So yeah, sometimes it can be very hard, especially from a content creator standpoint, to try to withhold not seeing leaks. But as far as them being a viable source, as far as content and as far as what people feel like they need, I don't really think obviously you need them. People want characters. Obviously, when it comes to the game, people want to know what characters are coming. Like I said, the devs are getting a little bit better at it, but sometimes people just want to even see the move sets, want to, like, you know, engage with the move sets and stuff like that. So they look at the move sets of the characters and see what they bring to the table. They want to see the skills and how the skills actually work and all of that when it comes to characters side of that. And it's like, you know, I understand that people are excited for things and stuff like that. People are going to look at them regardless, even no matter what I say or what other people say. But I think one of the biggest things that people fail to realize when it comes to Genshin is how free-to-play friendly this game is, in the sense of a lot of its content can be completed with, you know, just a small roster. Even like almost the base roster of the game, a lot of the content that the game actually has to offer can be completed with those characters. Now, there's two different things when it comes to free-to-play. You know, what free-to-play means to you is a complete different topic, which I've talked about plenty of times. It could be how good are the gacha rate pools so you could get majority of the characters, or it could be how easy is the content to complete with just the roster that you have at your disposal based on your bad luck in the game. Can you still complete the content and stuff like that? So it's not really the fact that people need these characters. People just want the characters. But then it also comes back into the philosophy about this game in particular of what do you actually need this stuff for, right? What do you need the strongest weapon, the strongest characters for, when there's nothing in the game actually to use it for? And that's where this game has somewhat of a dissonance when it comes to what players feel like the game is.
And you know why I don't want to? It's because the company doesn't want me to.
Right, and respecting the devs. I respect that.
Me a fucking Tartaglia
I definitely respect that.
No, I'm not underneath any contract. When the new update, when the dev live stream comes out, everything's exciting, everything's new. And
I like that feeling too.
My passion for the game.
I definitely like that too.
For the next 6 weeks.
It sucks when you already know what everything is going to happen inside the live stream. It's not fun.
2 is so fucking bad. We got Toma,
and
that's it. Which is like cool to get some reruns for the people who haven't played.
Interesting.
But why the fuck punish the people who have? Literally, I don't fucking get it.
Punish the people that have.
I get it. That's all well and good that you want to bring in new players, but what about the people who've been here since the fucking beginning?
So he definitely made an interesting point right here, just real quick. With the actual, like, you know, punishing players who already been playing the game. It's sort of interesting that he says that, because the rerun banner was actually one of the best moves that they actually made financially for themselves. Apparently the Hu Tao banner was a huge success, and that would have allowed them to like set some records and stuff like that too. They set like a record with the Hu Tao banner, and then even the Hu Tao banner was such a success in CN. Apparently it like broke the servers or something. It was like telling you have to wait to get in the game because it was server overload over there in CN, which is crazy that that actually was a thing that's happening, along with the revenue and it being #1 in so many stores at the time that it was. It, like, you know, set a record once again. So I understand what he's saying, but it also is just something on the dev side that they saw the statistics was the right time to make that banner happen again, and it definitely worked out. So, you know, it is what it is on that. They definitely made the right call regardless.
And while it's cool to say, oh, here's some cool new goodies, here's some fun little event that you can beat at level 20. Why the fuck am I level 90?
Uh-oh.
With level 90 weapons.
Didn't we just say this?
With level 10 talents. With plus 20 to artifacts. If I can beat it at level 20. I've talked about this so much so that I don't think it's going to fucking happen.
So this is actually a very interesting thing to talk about. I think this is the point where people start to fail to realize how the devs are actually trying to make this game work. And this could change completely in the future as far as how they want to progress the game over the lifespan of Genshin Impact. But at the moment, it just doesn't seem like the devs have any motivation to make any sort of content that's super hard. Now, of course, there are going to be some things that are hard, like the Abyss could be hard sometimes. You know, they actually do try to make some things hard, and people have talked about it and complained about certain mechanics being inside of there that are either completely ridiculous or are just, like, you know, just hard for players to actually do. Even some of the stronger players, they actually sometimes have a bit of trouble trying to maneuver around that content. And then also there comes with the difficulty things he's talking about. The devs have showed that they can make difficulty within the game, or you can like make your own difficulty. But the thing about it is, like, even when you do it, you're just doing it for the sake of brownie points, just for the sake of saying, yes, I did it, hurrah, right? But there's no real incentive. You don't get anything from it. Now, people have suggested plenty of times for the devs to actually, you know, try to make some sort of difficulty setting where they have, like, you know, you could put your different type of restrictions on yourself to get like the different multipliers, and meeting this high like score that you can do, like this higher score above all the other things that you can get inside the game. There could be some other incentives that are just purely cosmetic. Maybe it's a skin, maybe some stuff for your home or something like that. It could be some furniture, it could be anything like that, just something purely cosmetic to say like, hey, I got this thing, hey, you see this cool costume that I got, or hey, look at this like reward that I got, this pretty cool thing that I got for beating that event with that high score. Like, you know, just some brownie points, some swag that you get to put inside your house to brag to your friends about. Nothing too crazy. But even with that, I'm pretty sure the devs have heard this and they have still not tried to implement something like that. And they sometimes even take away the difficulty settings. It's not always inside of every game. Once again, like you said, some of the events are just really easy to where you can beat them very casually for even every player. If there's a difficulty setting, you should be able to beat it normally, but you could also beat it to get like other rewards. They just don't seem to have that type of mentality for this game in mind. And I understand that there's people out there that want more hardcore content when it comes to Genshin Impact. However, this also reminds me of a very common situation or discussion that happens among another community, and that's the Soul-like games. The Soul-like community is always saying that people who want a difficulty setting within the game aren't the target audience. That game is made for the hardcore audience, and they don't want that game to have a difficulty setting. They don't want people to have an easier time because that's not what the developers had in mind. They want this to be a hard game for hardcore players. This could be the same thing that's happening for Genshin. They could be the opposite side of the spectrum. Maybe they don't want to have difficulty setting. This isn't the target. The target audience isn't you, the hardcore players. The target audience is the casual audience. And there's a lot of casual players that play this game. It's on multiple devices. It's on mobile. It's on PlayStation. It's on PC. And it's free to play. You know, little Jimmy 69 can go play this game. Like, you know, he doesn't have to have anything. He got a mobile phone that his dad and mom gave him. Congrats. He could play Genshin on his phone and swipe and you know, do attacks and stuff. And, you know, you can just play the game. And that's just what they want. They want to have a nice, strong, casual audience. That is their target audience for this game. So having hardcore and in-game content, that's just not something that they're looking forward to do. And it's not the problem of they can't do it. It's just there's no incentive to do it. They don't have no reason to change their formula. It's working. It's like the same things that are happening when people were talking about resin, right? You don't really hear too much complaints about resin too much. You hear it once in a while, but the complaints are slowly dying down. And it's because people complain about things, but they still continue to support the product. You see this all the time in different games. Call of Duty players constantly complain about their game. They were like completely bitching about the game going complete Star Wars back a few years ago. You remember that when Call of Duty went into outer space? People are like, oh, this game is gonna be so trash. Guess what? It did all right. They made another one. NBA, they talk about it's the same thing every year. Guess what? They do it again. You're gonna buy it. It's the same thing. So until players are willing to not support a product in order to get their point across, devs have no reason to change their incentives of how they're playing. And clearly we can see that whatever MiHoYo is doing is working. They have made the most money out of any game, period, within its first year, beating Fortnite and Grand Theft Auto 5. That is a huge accomplishment. And of course, their formula right here is working. So people are still supporting the game. People are still giving them money. There's no reason to change what they're doing. They might as well keep going with it.
It's bad enough that people are telling me that Arataki Ito is going to be another skinny fuck like Zhongli and Tartaglia.
Oh,
which
what?
is good for those characters. Right? But I'm fucking freaking out because I wanted the meaty, strong muscle boy.
What?
But I'm fucking terrified that they're just going to reuse the same fucking model. Which,
they do use the same model.
It's over, I guess. I can just fucking
it's a formula.
get over it. I can look the other way.
It's like most games try to use like a base model.
We need something to get excited about because at the end of the day, I'm so blessed with my community, and I mean that gender. I don't mean the Genshin Impact community. I don't. I mean my community. And my community, if you've been to my streams, is much different than the Genshin Impact community. That's why people say, oh, Genshin Impact is the only reason why you're relevant. That's what people said for Arknights. That's what people said for Ulala.
No, he's past that. 100%, he's past that.
Alice, Alone, every other game that
when you can start streaming variety and you have people, as much people that comes in his streams like that, you surpass that. He can make whatever he wants now. He has the legit community.
Are my boys, I will also be their streamer. That's why when we go variety, we keep like 70% of the people there.
I just said that. He has a legit community. They can't say that to this dude. They can't.
Now, unfortunately for me, I'm not one of, I think it's the 3 content creators who've been blessed by the YouTube algorithm. 10, the channel trailer on my video got like a 10 out of 10 performance. Yes. Because my editor worked really hard on that. And if you haven't seen that video, you should. It's so fucking good.
As a content creator, that's one of the worst feelings, by the way. When you work super hard on a video and then you see that 10 out of 10 come up, it's like, dang, man, was my people really not feeling this? Like, where are my homies? I understand that. That's a sad feeling. I understand, my friend.
I don't know, guys. It's hard as a player, and I'll tell you this right now, it's even harder as a content creator.
Yes. As a content creator, yes. I think we could pretty much wrap this up. I think he made some pretty good points, but I also obviously disagree with certain things. I have obviously some different opinions about certain things that he said. One last thing I want to say about gacha games in general, though, before we wrap this up. One of the biggest confusions I think people have when it comes to Genshin Impact is they thought this game was going to be the savior of gacha. They thought this game in particular, because of its presentation, was going to be the game that breaks the mold of what we deem to be gacha games. And, you know, gacha games sometimes do have what you consider like an end game, right? An end game. But for the majority of gacha games they all follow a very simple formula. And that's once you get to the end of the content, it means like, you know, you have done all there is, a story progression and all that. The honeymoon phase is going, you know, and all that. You pretty much log into the game. You do your dailies. You do the event that's there within the game. If the game has any type of PvP currency or PvP system, you do the PvP. And maybe a tower system or something like that. You'll probably try your luck at the tower if you got a little bit stronger in your progression or whatever. And then you get off for the day. That's pretty much it. That's what it is. You do your dailies, do your event stuff to get your extra currency and your extra stuff. You do your little PvP and some tower if there is one, and then you get off for the day. Takes usually no more than like an hour to 2 hours of playtime at max. That's it. That's all it takes. And people thought because this game was going to be an open world experience that it was going to deviate from the common gacha thing, the common gacha formula that's always been there, the tried and true that's been working for many gacha games here and there. Now, this is something that is not the case. As you can see, it still follows the same thing. Now, there's a little bit of extra twist to it in the fact that there is a exploration portion to this, and that's in the form of when we actually get new areas to explore. That's the, I guess, the unique aspect of this gacha game. You know, every gacha game got to have their like little catch, like, you know, their catch 22 to try to pull you in. This one is open world exploration theme with our traditional gacha elements within the game, which is going to be your dailies, a little bit of event, you do your little abyss, and then you get off of the game because, you know, after you explored everything, there's really nothing else to explore. So then you just get off. Or I guess you could do, you got to spend your, you know, your energy. So you do, I guess I consider that your dailies pretty much. Consider that your dailies, spending your energy. I mean, that's a daily thing that you do. So doing your dailies, doing your little tower, and then you get off. That's Genshin. Do your event and you get off. Yeah. So the game doesn't derive from the formula that we come to know as the gacha game formula. And that's the biggest caveat that people fail to understand, or people try to get past. They try to spend hours on the game and they're just not hours of content to actually do. You know, this is a game still that you just get on and get off. You hop on, do your stuff, and get off. Now, as a content creator, I understand from his perspective, from a content creator. If you are not a content creator, then this formula should be something that you're familiar with and should understand and just accept as the gacha game formula. That's just how gacha games are. But as a content creator, when you are trying to do this as your livelihood, and this is how you make your income to support your household, this could be something that's detrimental to the type of things that you want to do for your content, right? If there's no content to come up with, then it's hard for you to make original ideas to keep your audience engaged. And this could be something that can truly be a hard thing. So I understand where he's coming from that perspective, truly. Overall, last thing, shout outs to Tectone, man. Very good video, very insightful and critical thinking video about the game in its current state. Even though, like I said, difference of opinions here, truly respect the man for the type of things he do for the community of the game, just period. He makes some very unique ideas, and he tries to bring the community together in some unique ways. I truly respect that. So once again, good video, man. And yeah, just keep doing you, man. Keep doing you. No matter what people say, just keep being you, man, and things will definitely work out. Anyway, if you like anything I had to say, drop me a like. I greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, follow me on my socials. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn notifications so you know the next video goes live. As always, my name is Dyken, and I'll see you next time. Signing out.